Hey guys, it's Twintuitive717. I'm back with another video. So I have a reading today for you guys about the Divine Masculine and some things that they might be going through right now physically that you as their counterpart, the Divine Feminine energy, are picking up on. Fear, confusion, and I'll explain a little bit about how it's showing up in the body and what the masculines are going through in this present time. So I have the Devil card over here because the reason I wanted to do this reading is because I was feeling a lot of extreme fear and anxiety. And how you'll know it's the masculine's energy is you'll be just fine, and then all of a sudden you wake up the next morning and just something feels off. You feel a little bit dazed and just bland. And the Devil energy has to do with a lack of confidence. They procrastinate a lot, even though they know they have clear intentions on doing something. There's a lot of insecurity and closed-mindedness around the Devil card, and maybe some self-doubt, which can lead to denial and even excuses. So I feel like what the masculines are going through right now is coming forward and stepping forward and finally speaking some truth to the feminine, because a lot of the in and out energy, like I've mentioned in previous posts, it's been exhausting, and what they're starting to come to terms with is the Devil energy is basically a lot of false truth that they see in the outside world, what it means to feel happy, fulfilled, and satisfied. And I feel for many of them, they've been feeling like they've been chasing an illusion, and some of them feel, quite embarrassed, a little bit foolish at this time, because when they do interact with their feminines are in a whole different world. And what I mean by this is the feminines have removed themselves quite a bit from the 3D world, and that's only because there's been so many emotional lessons that we've been going through that we've sort of been forced into the 5D, where we're dipping into a lot of our gifts, we're spending a lot of time resting, channeling, having a lot of these symptoms occur, but retrieved into our hermit mode in order to cope. But I feel like the masculines are calling us because they want to know how to cope with all of this Devil energy that they are surrounded by. And, some of us can feel like the Devil energy is one of those, darker cards, or they can represent a lot of bad, but it doesn't represent bad, it represents imbalance. And that's basically what they're going through right now, and that may be why they're reaching out to the feminines on the 5th dimension, or what I mean by that is through your dreams and through songs and signs and synchronicities. And it's driving you feminines insane because you're thinking to yourselves, why don't you just come forward? But it's that coming forward and breaking down those walls and being in touch with their emotions for the first time is what's causing a lot of the Devil energy, because they want to retreat back to old ways, which is ignoring this altogether, closing off the heart space and continuing on. But when they continue on, it's that 3D world that ends up bringing them right back to square one of feeling a lot of this pain, anxiety, and worry about simply wanting just to feel unconditional love and acceptance. I think I'll just jump right into the shuffling that I was doing. I think they really look up to the feminine because now they're experiencing a lot of this journey head on. And many of them are feeling fearful about stepping forward because, I do feel that embarrassment, or that sort of like a foolish feeling, like they feel very foolish because this inner knowing of what a twin flame is, or what a deep soul connection means, it hasn't been an easy road to have your worlds turn upside down. And what the feminine has done with this journey is she's taken it by the horns, and she's really used a lot of her strength and upbringing and many of the values and core beliefs that she's held close to her heart to help guide her on her way. And in this card, I feel like the masculines are represented by this wild boar. And when I see the strength card come up and I see the boar, I think a lot about earth energy. And it's like the masculines are so grounded to the earth and so rigid, full of structure. And then here's this feminine energy overpowering all of that in which they thought was so much strength, but it's like she's really shown them what strength is, because now they're seeing what it takes to master your emotions and your feelings, and to them that signifies strength. And it's taking them right over to the Six of Wands, because they're very much in their thoughts at this time, persevering through this journey because they're aware it's pulling them out of the devil energy. This love that they feel for the feminine, this attraction, this softness, this vulnerability that she brings to the table, it is healing them, because it's taking them out of a lot of the abusive cycles that they go through in their heads from all of the damage that they've experienced in past relationships throughout their childhood. For some reason, it is this divine feminine's presence in their life that ends up bringing up all of these emotions to the surface, and she's constantly asking them to question what makes them feel passionate, what makes them feel fiery. And I feel like for the first time in his life, he's feeling like that's love. You know, all that fire in the background again. Two cards with wands energy, so any fire signs that are listening. I feel like if it's your masculine's a fire sign, because if you'll notice, he's holding the torch in this card, and then in this card here, a lot of that fiery energy, it seems like he's behind it, because he's behind her. He's wanting her to relax, because, and I think I've said this before, it's like there's no turning back for him, and he's very much aware of the transformation that's taking place. And you know, some things I want to mention too about the devil energy coming to an end, or going up in flames, if you will, is this fiery energy, you know, within the masculines has a lot to do with their spirit. And it's like our spirit is about our destiny, and that's what the feminine does to him. It's not just this romantic, beautiful, exhilarating connection. It's the fact that every other part of his life is pieced together in a way that makes sense for the first time. It gives him ambition, passion, a will to do something, to change not only himself, but to change the world, make a difference in the world. There's no denying that this is what the twin flame journey does to many of us, which is why this love can seem so profound, and that's why it takes us on this journey of really believing in something greater and changing and transforming ourselves so that we can be of service and set the way and set the path for others that will have this experience in the future. And he's coming into awareness with a lot of this, and he's just feeling grateful overall for the connection. He admires the feminine for everything that she's gone through and brought to the table. Now, just randomly, a strength card again. That's beautiful. You know, like I said, he admires not only your strength, feminine, but it's setting an example for the things that he needs to do now in his life. Fighting inequality, standing up for himself, standing up for others who are vulnerable, being of service, being helpful, being kind, being patient. Through all of these gifts that he's getting from tapping into his own feminine energies from his counterpart being in his life, business is better. He's learning to make decisions by reading people's energy, by knowing if they're sincere or genuine or not. You know, before the feminine's presence in his life, I feel like it was more just risk-taking. But the feminine is teaching him to be strong in every area of his life. I mean, it speaks volumes with this card coming out in both of the decks. I'll just go ahead here and have another random one. The Queen of Summer. So our beautiful Queen of Summer is actually the Queen of Cups. So all about emotions. Feminine is guiding him through this experience by holding the space. And when I say holding the space, there's so much strength and love and nurturing within the Queen energy. And even throughout the masculine's negative experiences and all of the negativity that he's thrown her way, she doesn't see a negative person. She sees a hurt person, a hurt child. And being that true divine feminine essence, she knows how to nurture her own children So when the masculine displays feelings of extreme hurt through his actions towards her, it's almost like the feminine doesn't see him in a negative way. She sees him as like a toddler having a tantrum. And I think that just kind of sums up the level of love between the two. The love is unconditional, and I think someone had mentioned it in my comment section before, but they talked about the love that we feel for our masculines is the same type of love that we would feel for like our parents or our children. It's just unconditional. So no matter what they do that's wrong, you know that it's coming from a place of misunderstanding or miscommunication. It's just quite apparent in the twin flame connection how this lesson or this sort of truth keeps coming up. It just keeps coming up over and over and over again as to what the role of the feminine is and what the role of the masculine is, and how they're both influencing each other throughout this journey. The masculines have been extremely rigid and disconnected, and the feminines have been placed into their lives to show this level of love, empathy, compassion, and unconditional way of accepting another. And it is literally transforming all of the hurt that they've experienced throughout this lifetime. And for many masculines, I think I mentioned before too that he knew about the connection before the feminine did. And these are for those masculines where it's like all their lives as little kids, they always thought about the perfect nurturing, mothering energy. And I think that speaks volumes about some of the experiences that they may have had as kids and why they can sometimes act as negative as they do. And I feel like that really comes from a place of feeling hurt and unsupported by the mothering energy at some point or another. And so now with the feminine's presence, all of that is being brought back into a natural, healthy balance. That's what's giving them a lot of the strength and courage that they so much needed as young boys a long time ago. Alright guys, well, I hope this reading finds you all well, and that there were some messages in there that resonated for you. I will catch you guys in the next video. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.